Have you ever wondered why the ones who care the least seem to hold all the power in relationships? Here's the uncomfortable truth. She needs you more than you think. And once you understand this dynamic, everything changes. Relationships are often seen as equal partnerships. But in reality, there's always a balance of power, and it's rarely 50-50. If you've ever felt like you're constantly putting in effort while she seems indifferent, you're about to discover why that happens and how you can flip the script. By the end of this video, you'll know how to command respect and attention without ever chasing. Stay tuned, because this knowledge can change your relationships forever. Have you ever stopped to think about why certain men hold all the power in relationships without even trying? They're not chasing, pleading, or bending over backward to keep someone interested. Instead, they're calm, self-assured, and magnetic. Women gravitate toward them without hesitation. The truth is, power doesn't lie in effort. It lies in control, particularly the control you have over yourself. Here's a secret that most men overlook. The more you need her, the less power you have. But when you step back, focus on yourself, and prioritize your own worth, something fascinating happens. Suddenly, she needs you more than you'll ever need her. And this shift, it's not about playing games or manipulation. It's about embracing a mindset that naturally commands respect and attention. It's human nature to crave what feels just out of reach. When something or someone comes easily, we don't appreciate it as much. Women, like all people, are drawn to value. And let's be clear, value isn't about looks, money, or status alone. It's about how you present yourself and what you demand from the world around you. Women instinctively sense when a man carries himself with confidence, and when he values his time and energy, they respond to it. If you've been the guy who's always available, always texting first, and constantly seeking reassurance, you may have unknowingly pushed her away. Why? Because when you give without boundaries, you make it too easy. But when you step back, even just a little, and focus on your own life, you start to trigger something deeper, a primal curiosity and interest that wasn't there before. The key here lies in how you prioritize your time and energy. Imagine a man so focused on his goals and purpose that he doesn't have time to obsess over what someone else thinks of him. That energy is magnetic. He's not ignoring her out of malice. He's simply living his life. And while many men chase validation, the ones who command respect are the ones who give it sparingly. Think about it. When you're too eager to please, it's like handing her a map to your every thought and feeling. But if you maintain an air of unpredictability, of self-assurance, she'll naturally want to know more. This is the essence of power in relationships. It's not about dominance or control. It's about building yourself into someone worth chasing. When you flip the dynamic and stop placing her above yourself, you disrupt the cycle where she holds all the cards. Instead, she starts to see you as a challenge, a man she has to work for, someone who's worth the effort. And that's where the real shift begins. Once you realize the power lies in how much you value yourself, everything changes. Women aren't drawn to a man who seems lost in her shadow. They're drawn to the man who seems to glow from within, the man whose energy isn't dependent on external approval. You've seen this before. When you chase too hard, try too much, or give too freely, she starts to pull away. Not because she's heartless or unappreciative, but because the dynamic becomes predictable. And predictability kills attraction. But the moment you step back and shift your focus away from her, that's when the game changes. Here's the thing most men misunderstand. Stepping back doesn't mean you're being cold, rude, or dismissive. It simply means you're creating space. Space for her to wonder about you, to miss you, to think about what it is you're doing. And in that space, you regain control. You give her the chance to lean in instead of always being the one reaching out. This doesn't just create mystery, it builds value. You're not the guy begging for her attention. You're the guy she's trying to figure out. This shift may seem subtle, but it's incredibly powerful. Think about the last time you truly wanted something. Was it something you could have anytime? Something you didn't have to put effort into? Probably not. What we value most is what we have to work for. Women operate the same way. When they feel like they have your full attention, without having to earn it, they lose the drive to invest. On the other hand, when she senses that you're busy with your own goals, passions, and life, she feels the need to prove herself worthy of your time. This is why scarcity matters so much. It's not about playing games. It's about shifting how you view yourself. A man who has scarcity naturally is a man who knows he has options. He doesn't need to check his phone constantly, waiting for her message. He doesn't rearrange his life for her plans. He respects himself and his time so much that she begins to see him differently. Suddenly, she notices the little things. Why isn't he replying immediately? What's keeping him so engaged? Why does he seem so unshaken no matter what she does? This curiosity pulls her in more powerfully than any sweet words or grand gestures ever could. But this can only happen when you genuinely embrace the idea that your time is valuable. You can't fake this mindset. If you're constantly worrying about how she'll react, checking her social media, or overthinking her actions, it shows, and it's a huge red flag to her subconscious. She'll sense your insecurity and lose respect. However, if you truly believe that your time, energy, and attention are worth protecting, it changes the way you carry yourself. And she'll notice that too. When you start to respect yourself, you begin to radiate confidence in everything you do, and it's that confidence that draws her toward you. Women are incredibly intuitive. They pick up on the subtle signals you send out. When you prioritize yourself, it's like sending out a silent message that says, I'm someone valuable, and I don't need anyone's approval to feel that way. This energy shifts the dynamic entirely, because now, instead of you seeking her validation, she's trying to earn yours. And it's not just about how you act when she's around, it's how you live your life when she's not. The man who invests in himself, whether that's hitting the gym, building a business, learning new skills, or strengthening friendships, is a man who becomes undeniably attractive, not just to her, but to everyone. There's something irresistible about someone who's fully engaged with their life, someone who doesn't revolve their world around a single person. This isn't just appealing, it's magnetic. Here's the kicker, though. It doesn't happen overnight. Building yourself up into this kind of man takes time and commitment. You can't just decide to be confident, you have to earn it. You earn it by setting goals and hitting them, by refusing to let setbacks break you, and by continuously aiming to improve. You earn it through discipline, focus, and resilience. And the best part? The transformation isn't just about attracting her. It's about becoming the best version of yourself for your own sake. But here's the beautiful irony. When she senses that your happiness doesn't depend on her, she'll want to be part of your world even more. When she realizes that you're not desperately trying to please her, it sparks something primal in her. She starts to see you as a challenge, a man with standards. And a man with standards is rare. Most guys are too quick to settle for less or bend over backward to avoid conflict, but not you. You've stepped into a position of power by knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it. This shift is also why she starts to chase. When she can see that you're not like every other guy, that you're not desperate or willing to drop everything for her, it creates a sense of urgency. She knows she can't take you for granted because, deep down, she understands that a man like you is hard to find. She'll begin to worry, what if someone else captures his attention? And that worry sparks the desire to invest. Now, instead of you feeling like you have to earn her, she's the one wondering how to stay on your radar. At this point, the balance has shifted completely. You're no longer the one bending to keep her interested. She's fully engaged, thinking about you more and more, because you've created the perfect dynamic. Respect mixed with curiosity, all grounded in authentic self-confidence. And here's the truth. This dynamic isn't built on tricks or manipulation. It's rooted in your willingness to step back, focus on yourself, and let her come to you on her own terms. When you've built yourself into the kind of man who doesn't chase, a profound shift occurs, not just in how women perceive you, but in how you see yourself. Suddenly, you realize that you never needed to fight for attention or affection. Instead, you've positioned yourself as someone who attracts it effortlessly. And here's the most fascinating part. This approach isn't just about relationships with women. It's about life itself. Whether it's in your career, friendships, or personal growth, the same principle applies. When you prioritize your value, opportunities begin to seek you out instead of the other way around. But let's address something important here. This mindset isn't about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else or treating others as if they're beneath you. It's about humility combined with strength. True confidence doesn't need to shout. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. And that's what women notice. They're drawn to a man who carries himself with a calm assurance, someone who doesn't need to brag or overcompensate, but still commands attention simply by being present. This is why some men seem to have that almost magnetic pull. They don't say much, yet their energy fills the room. Women notice them without needing flashy gestures or over-the-top behaviors. These men have mastered the art of balance. They don't pursue relentlessly, but they don't ignore completely either. They know how to give just enough to keep her intrigued, always leaving her wanting more. And here's where the real power lies. When you become this type of man, you also eliminate the fear of losing her. You no longer feel the need to cling or convince. Why? Because deep down you know you'll be fine either way. Whether she stays or walks away, you're secure in who you are and what you bring to the table. This detachment isn't about indifference. It's about freedom. You're free from the anxiety of trying to control her decisions, free from the constant need for reassurance, and free to simply enjoy the connection without letting it consume you. Ironically, this freedom is what draws her even closer. When she senses that you're not dependent on her for your happiness, it creates a powerful allure. She starts to realize that being part of your life is a privilege, not a necessity. And that realization makes her want to invest even more deeply. Because, let's face it, every woman wants to be with a man who knows his worth, a man who inspires her to rise to his level instead of dragging him down to hers. So, the next time you feel tempted to overextend yourself for someone, take a step back. Focus that energy on your own growth, your own goals, and your own happiness. Remember, power in relationships doesn't come from chasing. It comes from knowing you don't need to. The moment you embrace this truth is the moment everything starts to change. You won't just be attracting her. You'll be attracting the life you've always wanted. And that's the real secret. When she needs you more than you'll ever need her, it's not because of mind games or tricks. It's because you've become the kind of man who doesn't need anyone's approval to feel whole. You're living proof that the greatest power in relationships and in life comes from within. So, if you're ready to take that first step, remember this. Value yourself, respect your time, and watch how the world and the women in it respond to the man you've become. Now it's your turn. Will you choose to step into this power or stay in the same cycle that's been holding you back? If you're serious about change, hit subscribe to learn more.